Welcome guys back to another episode of Arsenal Transfer News Daily, that show that keeps you up to date with all players that have been linked with the summer transfer moves to Arsenal and away from Arsenal. And today we have huge news surrounding a new signing, which is now a done deal. Not officially yet, but it is now a done deal. Alexander Zinchenko to Arsenal will be a confirmed signing. A £30 million deal has been agreed between Arsenal and Manchester City. Personal terms are set to be agreed and finalised at the start of next week, which is now. And Zinchenko will fly across the USA to link up with Arsenal in Orlando ahead of their preseason game against Orlando City in the Florida Cup. So I think, he'll be linking up with Arsenal in Florida. At the moment, Manchester City are in Houston, so you would need to make a few other hop over to the other side of the USA to link up with his new Arsenal teammates, which will happen at the start of next week, and supposedly will undergo medicals at the US camp as well to sign as a new Arsenal player. The initial fee is around £30 million, as I've just said. Some were thinking it's going to be a bit higher. Manchester City hoped that they could get a higher price, but Arsenal have managed to negotiate a fee of £30 million. I think it's to do with the fact that Arsenal have already done business with Manchester City for Gabriel Jesus, so maybe that's why they have got a discounted price as such. So, you know, the business has been done. Arsenal have signed Alexander Zinchenko, a pretty good signing, to be honest. And look, as I've mentioned many times, he's a player that can play in multiple positions. One of those being left back. He can also play in the midfield, as well as in the number 10 spot. He is technically very gifted. We all know that. Playing under Pep Guardiola, he'll be very familiar with his systems, and therefore also familiar with Mikel Arteta's systems, as he has coached with him before, and they do know each other. So again, it's a good signing overall. I think for the fee, for the price that we are getting Alexander Zinchenko for, I don't think we can complain too much. It's a good signing. For a good price. We're not being ripped apart for the fee. And I think it's a very good deal. But leave your thoughts in the comment section down below about Alexander Zinchenko. Are you guys happy with the deal? Do you think we've paid enough for him? Do you think we've gotten a steal or a bargain? Or do you think we could have got a bit more? Do you think we could have gone for a bit cheaper even? Because I think he still has 2 years left on his deal. So I think all in all, we've got a good deal here. It's a good signing. I think compared to what we could have got with Lisandro Martinez for double the price, I think we've got the better deal here. We've got the better signing here. We've got the better player here. And I'm very intrigued to see how Zinchenko will get on at Arsenal. And I've got no complaints, to be honest. It's a good signing, shrewd bit of business, and I'm excited to see how he does at Arsenal. And hopefully we can see him in the preseason games that we have left before the start of the new Premier League season. So that is the news on Alexander Zinchenko. The next bit of news is on a player Arsenal have previously been linked to, and Arsenal are reportedly now in talks with Juventus once again for the midfielder Arthur Melo. The reports suggest that Arsenal are in talks for Arthur Melo. A popular name for Arsenal in 2022 has been the Juventus midfielder. Edu was particularly keen to sign his fellow Brazilian in January, but couldn't get a deal over the line. The Athletic report that Edu had a deal agreed with Juventus in January, an 18-month loan with a £33.5 million permanent option, but that deal was vetoed by other Arsenal decision makers. Some wondered whether Arthur would disappear off the Arsenal radar, but the Gunners are reportedly now back in. Tutto Mercato Web report that talks between Arsenal and Juventus are back on, having been on the back burner since January. It is noted that Arthur has been mentioned in a swap deal for Barcelona's Memphis Depay or even Roma's Nicola Zaniolo. Right now, though, it looks like that Arsenal are the favourites for Arthur, having initiated talks of late. Juventus may now even leave Arthur at home rather than take him on their pre-season tour to the United States, which starts on Thursday. The plan would be for Arthur to train in Turin, making a trip to London easier should Arsenal work out a deal with Juventus. Arthur, who is 25 years old, only started 11 Serie A games last season, who isn't really good enough for a player who cost Juventus £66 million in 2020. Massimiliano Allegri called Arthur important in January, but that hasn't mirrored in his playing time, and Arsenal could now swoop in with a deal. We have heard about Arthur Melo before. I've talked about Arthur Melo before. And while he is a good player, I do like the profile of Arthur Melo. He is a very, again, technically gifted player, but another player he hasn't adapted well in the Serie A. He did all right at Barcelona in La Liga. He was the player I probably would have taken in January because I think we did need a midfielder in January, and we still do. I think there are better options out there, and one of those options I'll discuss a bit more later, and that one is Yuri Tielemans. But I just feel like if we do a deal with Juventus now, what sort of deal will it be? Will it be a similar deal that we had agreed in January for an 18-month loan, or even a 12-month loan at this point with a permanent or a buy option? I think that would be a very good deal if we could do some sort of 12-month loan with a buy option. That is a deal I would personally take. I think I'd be very happy with that. But any permanent deal now, I think, would be quite silly, especially for the fact that he's played very little games, and Juventus probably would be open to doing a loan deal if there was an option or even an obligation or some sort of option to buy him at the end of the loan spell. But I believe Arthur is a good player. Again, Edu probably knows him, Brazilian and all that one. It seems like Edu can only do these deals. But look, good player. I do rate him. Would I take him on a permanent at the moment? Probably not, because I think that would probably cost 30 to 40 million. And I think for that money, there's value elsewhere, i.e., Yuri Tielemans, or some would say Lucas Paqueta. But for me, I don't think we should be going for him for a permanent deal. If we can do a loan deal, I think that would be fine. But anything other than that, I think I'd be quite reluctant to do so. But leave those in the comment section down below. Would you take Arthur Melo, or would you try to look to move on to other targets, like Yuri Tielemans, for example? But he's a good player. He's a good player. But he's just not bedded in well at Juventus. But it's one to look out for, I think, because we were heavily interested in him in January. So it is a potential deal that could realistically be back on, but in what sort of form, that remains to be seen. The next bit of news is on Lucas Paqueta himself. Now, reports are emerging, two different reports. One suggesting that Tottenham Hotspur are in the race for Lucas Paqueta, and the second one is that Arsenal haven't actually made an approach or any formal bid for Lucas Paqueta, which kind of suggests the fact that Arsenal aren't actually exactly interested in Lucas Paqueta. What it seems like is Arsenal probably just monitoring the situation of the player, and haven't actually followed that up with any approaches as of yet. Whether that could change or not remains to be seen. But I've said many times on Lucas Paqueta, I don't think he's a player that should be on our list, on our top of priorities. I don't think he's that sort of player that we need at the moment. We have similar players to his ilk, like Fabio Vieira, Martin Odegaard. If we need a winger, we should sign a winger. And Fabrizio Romano has said that Arsenal will look to sign a winger in this window. Now, whether that is dependent on the sale of Nicolas Pepe, who has been linked with the move to Leicester City as of late, along with other clubs such as Leeds United and Sevilla and Lyon and Marseille. I think we will sign a winger, and I don't think Lucas Paqueta is a man to play right wing, because he hasn't played many games in his career at right wing. And whether we're going to use him as an 8, he hasn't really played 8 in his career either. He's a number 10, and we have many number 10s. Well, we have Smith Rowe who can play there, Fabio Vieira who can play there, Martin Odegaard who plays there. So I don't think he's the profile we need. He's a good player, technical, Brazilian again, but he's not. I don't think we've got too many of the same kind of players, and I don't think he would do much more to what we already have, if that makes sense. So I'll probably look elsewhere for a winger. Players like Bowen are good, Danjuma are good, even Wilfred Zaha would be good, to be honest. But look, I'm just floating names out there for wingers. I think we can do better than Lucas Paqueta. I'm not sure if he's going to be useful as an 8. He's not really an 8, he's a number 10. But look, Spurs are interested, and he would cost upwards of £55 million. Whether we go in with the bid remains to be seen, but I'm just putting it out there, is what I know about Lucas Paqueta. The last bit of news is on Yuri Tielemans. I mentioned him briefly earlier, and there is heavy reports emerging that Manchester United are in for Yuri Tielemans now. A deal for Frankie de Jong to Manchester United is stalling, as the player does not want to sign for them, it seems like anyway. So they could turn their attentions or add to de Jong by signing Yuri Tielemans. Now, as we all know, as I've told you many times, Arsenal would really like Yuri Tielemans, and I've told you also that personally, if I think a deal will happen, it will happen late in the window, i.e., sort of deadline day, that kind of thing. I think this deal will end up happening. It will be a late one. I'm not going to sit here and say guaranteed because I don't know that. But what I do think is, I think this deal will happen. And Arsenal have been working on this deal for a year or so. So I don't think Arsenal will back out from it. And I think he does add good value, and he can play number 8. And he can do more than players like Lucas Paqueta and even Arthur Melo, and good value because he only has a year left on his deal, and Premier League proven. So I think for all those reasons, I think Yuri Tielemans is a no-brainer, and I'll definitely look to try and sign him. But look, I think with Yuri Tielemans, I think he probably wants his future sorted out quickly. And if Arsenal don't move quick enough, teams like Manchester United could come in and take him off of us, and that is a real possibility. So I think if Arsenal wants him, we need to maybe move quicker, but I don't know how real this Manchester United interest is. Yuri Tielemans is a player that Arsenal are still focused on for that midfield area, but obviously we still have been linked with players like Arthur recently again, and Lucas Paqueta. So it depends which one we want, which one Mikel Arteta prefers. For me, it would be Yuri Tielemans. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Which midfielder would you like Arsenal to sign? If it was out of Yuri Tielemans, Paqueta, Arthur, or any other names that are out there that Arsenal have been linked to. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please leave a like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.